Cucks, rethink all your life choices and pay no mind to the sounds coming from the other side of that door, because this episode's not for you. It's all for her, and we're gonna make you watch. This is Super Despair World, rated the #1 most listened to podcast in the world by your girlfriend, and she says it's much better than your podcast. So sit down, get comfortable in the corner there, and listen to every second of our Patreon and Discord plug before we get started today.
Oh, baby, yeah. We have a Discord. Get back in the chair. Get back in the chair.
Sit down. You got to listen to this. Don't skip ahead.
Yeah, we have a Discord. It is in the description of the episode. Go hop in there and tell us about all the cool and fun things that you're into. And we also have a Patreon that you can join. Well, you can join it for free, I guess, but you can also join it and donate a sinister $6 to hear all of the big brain takes we have on all of this wonderful and amazing stuff that the internet and the world at large has to offer us. So if you've been thinking about you've been sitting in a certain type of chair that's in the corner of the room.
Maybe a little shed in your yard.
Maybe a little shed. Maybe a cage. Who knows? You know, everybody does things a little bit differently. And if you're thinking about, hey, maybe I wanted to join a cool Discord. Maybe I wanted to join a Patreon, but I don't know which one. Well, this is the one. Hop in there. We've made the choice for you. Get in there now.
Hell yeah. Okay, fellas, I don't know where to begin with this one. I've often said before, this is a show about maintaining some level of curiosity about the world. We're talking about, people and weird subcultures, things going on maybe in the news. And we really try to not just be like a circus of cringe where we poke fun and laugh at people on the internet. But it's hard. It's really hard, guys. Because sometimes people are really funny themselves, and you want them to be in on the joke, but sometimes they are the joke. And today we're gonna be walking a fine line. So let's be chill. Let's all be mature about this one. We're talking about cucks today.
Cucks, and not just the figurative cuck, which I guess we'll glaze over it.
No, the real deal. The whole
real
thing.
Yeah.
Every inch of it.
Actual cucks. The cuckold lifestyle, if you will.
Yeah. Okay. So cuck. Honestly, this has been if you've been online at all, I feel like cuck has just been one of those words that just entered the mainstream public consciousness. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just revealing how online I am. I feel like a few years ago you didn't really hear it as much, but maybe ever since 2016, maybe 2018 or 20, I don't know, and at some point in the last couple of years, everything's become about cucks. Everybody who is embarrassing or kind of weird and meek on the internet, they're some kind of cuck. This has just become the go-to insult for so many different people, but it also refers to a real thing. So I thought, I don't know, let's start by trying to break down what is a cuck actually.
Yeah, well, the actual fetish of cuckolding is when your partner, assuming that you are the cuck in this situation, put yourself in the cuck chair for just a moment, or the cuck shed, or the cuck cage, or again, there's different ways we can.
The cuck compartment, the domicile.
Yeah, whatever compartment you find yourself in as a cuck, sit down there and listen. That would be if you are the cuck, you allow your partner, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. And usually we're talking about a man being cucked here. I think the term is cuck queen. Is when
it's spelled weird. There's every vowel in there.
Yeah.
As we were doing a little research for this episode, I know like I said, sometimes it's the lady getting cucked, the cuck queen, but this is very much this is a very hetero thing. It is by large like straight guys, or maybe they have like a bit of a bicep. It's usually a man who's like watching their partner get ravished by someone else.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so I guess we could break down the terms here. I mean, I guess the only other vocabulary word we need to go over is there's the cuck, who is the one sitting and watching, and then there's the bull, which is the guy doing the cucking.
The superior male.
Yeah, yes, yes. The alpha superior male. That's just that's giving your wife or girlfriend or whatever everything you can't give her.
I know. I know in meme culture, this has become another big thing in the last couple of years. Everybody does the incel meme, the virgin walk versus the Chad stride, you know, the virgin versus Chad memes. And it's like,
exactly.
Okay, the Chad, that's like the bull. That's like the bigger, more dominant, more sexually satisfying guy who gets the girl instead of you.
And that is an interesting point. I wonder how much overlap there is with people who have just become like really just like ingrained with this sort of idea, the mindset of like the alpha and the beta. They kind of internalize this and just they see a sense of normalcy in this dichotomy of like I'm the guy doing the virgin walk, and for some reason I'm with the Stacy, and so she needs a Chad. This is the hierarchy of the world. So this must just like be how it needs to be.
Yeah, like all these memes, I'm pretty sure they came out of like the incel community at first. Maybe it was like a 4chan or 8chan sort of thing. I don't know, but like 4chan always had its own like incel, which if you don't know at this point, that's like involuntary celibate, like people who just like can't get a romantic or sexual partner despite their efforts, despite themselves. And like they make a community online, and they just like, I don't know, like if you've been listening to this show for any length of time, you know by now, like, okay, if you immerse yourself in some kinds of like online communities, it's like a feedback loop of like the worst people like further radicalizing each other into just like total internet brain rot and like the way they see the world. It's just, I don't know, like a lot of this is rooted in like weird feelings of like jealousy that you might start to get, like, you know, when you're in like middle or high school and you see other people like start to date before you do, and you just like never mature out of it, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
a lot of this is just like pure brain rot.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've touched on incel stuff a bunch, I think, over the course of our wonderful and illustrious catalog of episodes.
They are a specter haunting this podcast.
Yeah, at some point we'll do a full incel episode, because there's so much to say about these people and their influence on the greater discourse of just internet people at large. But
yeah, and which armies they like to play in Warhammer.
Hey, yeah, check out our as of right now our second most famous episode, which is trailing.
It's getting up there.
Yeah, it's trailing by a thread, so it just takes two more angry boys to overtake our previous most popular episode.
For sure. But okay, to get things back on track a little bit, today is not about incels actually, but we brought it up because I feel like there's a bit of a shared like mimetic language here. Like a lot of the same kind of like insecurities and like mental hangups that incels have, you see it in like the whole cuckolding kink as well, but more from a different angle, where it's like, okay, yeah, the dude actively wants to be humiliated and like put in his place by like somebody who can satisfy his partner better than he can, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's a very strange and interesting mindset, which I certainly can't relate with, because a lot of these people they kind of it's almost like when they post about this stuff, they're like complaining about it. They're just like my wife has been with the bull all day, and like I'm fucking pissed off about it, but like also my dick is like rock hard right now. Should I call her? But yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
but also,
there's like it's like a very it's a cognitive dissonance sort of thing.
Yes,
where it's like,
yes, exactly.
Like on the one hand, okay, we're talking about like this is some people's kink, it's their fetish, and you know, as a rule, I try to be like open and understanding, no matter how much I look at a kink and I'm like, oh, I'm really not into that, or like whatever like gut reaction I have that's like, oh, that's like kind of disgusting or like pathetic or weird, you know, like I can't really help having those feelings sometimes, but you know, you like as a mature adult, you can like look past and try to think like, okay, what's actually going on here? And you know, I guess like the thing about having any kind of kink is like, okay, you want it to be like safe. You don't want people getting hurt in the process,
right?
Like permanently. You want to have like everybody's like a consenting adult or some shit. And you know, sometimes these things are born out of like a deeply held trauma, right? Like I know a lot of people might have like a we're getting into some dark places here. Maybe they'll have like a kink related to something like non-consensual happening to them or something. And, you know, maybe something terrible happened to them when they were younger. And I've heard from a lot of people express like, okay, by reliving this sort of thing on my own terms, I can like come to terms with it. I can like reclaim it. I can make it like not like a painful thing. I can like get something out of it. And like when I look at a lot of people talking about like being a cuck is like a fetish on the internet, I'm like, okay, a lot of this is probably born out of like you were insecure about your partner, or like you were cheated on at some point. And you know, for a lot of people, yeah, that can be like crazy traumatic, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And with some of the research we've done on this before recording this episode, that does seem to definitely be the case, because I think there were a few posts that I looked at that were like they definitely started out that way. It's like I got cheated on, and then it turned to a whole thing. So like I think you touched on a lot of things related to kinks, where it's like, yeah, we're not here to kink shame people or whatever, but I think it is also important to identify and like delineate that there are harmless kinks and fetishes, and then there are ones that are either born out of some sort of like trauma or something like that, or they're reinforcing some sort of like negative shit that you have going on in your head, or like I'm not a psychologist. I just play one on the Super Despair World podcast.
I mean, we're podcasters, so we're very qualified to just like say things that sound kind of researched and educated, but maybe not.
Yeah, but you have some psychology background, don't you?
I took like 2 years of it when I was in college, and
basically
I did okay.
Yeah. More qualified than Jordan Peterson, probably.
Well, I'm definitely more welcome on college grounds than he is.
and elementary school playgrounds, maybe.
I don't know. Okay, that's a heavy thing to put out there, but I'm pretty sure, I don't know. Isn't JP weird about like cartoon stuff? Wasn't he like, I don't know if it was weird, but wasn't there like a tweet where he was like quoting something about like Sesame Street? He just like said like fuck off or whatever.
Oh, that one was that was a fake tweet, but I can't help but repost that. Anyway.
Look, it's exactly in line with his type of like brain rot, so.
That is true, and it's also like, yeah, it's just funny because it is something that he would say, just getting pissed off about absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I mean, there was the fucking Tucker Carlson bit about getting mad about they made the green M&M less sexy. So like, who cares? I don't know. People are weird about sex.
Yeah, absolutely. And they just want everything to be the way they want it to. You know that. And listen, the green M&M was sexy. But you know, she's sexy. I liked
her sexy little boots.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess the tennis shoes are cute too. A lot of people are into to sportswear.
Yeah, yeah. I like all types of women. Boots, tennis shoes. You just do you, as long as you're carrying
The
it.
point is, we're all the same on the inside. Chocolate, cheap, shitty chocolate. All right, let's get back on track. We were talking about like trauma, and I guess I wanted to say, like, the thing about all these kinks is you got to be careful, because the thing about trauma is, like, people don't know this, but it will literally physically rewire your brain a little bit. When something really, like, traumatic and devastating happens, it's gonna, like, this is gonna sound like such bullshit, because, like, I've been out of psychology long enough that I don't know the proper terms anymore, but it literally makes, like, new, like, neural connections and little pathways for brain energy to flow along inside your head. It's gonna rewire the way you think. It happens to everybody goes through life. They're gonna have at least one traumatic thing happen to them. It's unavoidable, but you got to be careful, because, like, it does make you think about these things differently, and you got to be, like, if you look back on, like, a past relationship experience where, like, maybe you were cheated on, maybe, like, a girl once said something really, like, degrading and, like, painful, like, emotionally painful towards you, and, like, you were hurt but you also got a boner or something. It's like, okay, you gotta walk on careful ground and not risk, like, harming yourself again. A lot of people don't know this, but, like, when we say the word, like, self-harm, a lot of people go to the classic in their head of, like, oh, okay, somebody's, like, slitting their wrist with, like, a razor blade or something, and that is an element of it. But the thing about self-harm is, like, a lot of it can be, like, emotional or like mental as well. Like, for a lot of people, it can be something like re-exposing yourself to the thing that hurt you, like, over and over again for no benefit. Or, like, if you've been, like, harassed on the internet repeatedly, it might take the form of just, like, reading every comment, name searching yourself, and seeing all the new, like, mean comments people say about you. It can take a lot of forms. So, like, I don't know, if you're into cuckolding or something, and it was born out of, like, a painful experience you had, you got to be careful about that, and just make sure, like, okay, is this actually just, like, a safe kink that I'm practicing in, like, a sane way, or, like, am I unintentionally, like, hurting myself to relive this painful moment?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. And yeah, brains are weird, and we still don't. The royal we. I'm including myself with all of the people with PhDs in cognitive science and psychology, because we're on the same level, of course. But yeah, I mean, like, cognition in general.
The P in PhD actually stands for podcast.
Yes, exactly. We have honorary PhDs. Podcaster. What's the
huge
age?
Dick?
Huge. Yeah, podcasters with huge dicks. It was supposed to be PWHD, but that it doesn't flow as well. So
we make it work.
But yeah, like, cognition is weird. It's very embodied. A lot of it has to do with just, like, the little things that people probably don't even really, like, remember. Can have just, like, a profound effect on, like, how your memories and how your, like, neural pathways and all this type of shit are linked together. So a lot of this stuff is really complicated, and it's very interesting, but it expresses itself in really bizarre ways sometimes. And yeah, like, cuckolding, it's probably probably one of those things where this is an expression of a very wonderful, okay, maybe not wonderful, but interesting aspect of the human mental state.
Yeah, it's weird. It can be rooted in a lot of weird stuff, and, like, because we brought up, like, kinks and trauma and all that, I want to say, like, it's definitely not traumatic for everybody, but there are some other, like, aspects to it which I thought, like, maybe we would unpack before we get into the meat, into the second half of this episode, which will be fun. But I was gonna say, like, we definitely noticed a few things about cucks. Like, it definitely seems like a very like heterocentric sort of thing. Like, okay, this is very much like from the perspective of like guys where like their girlfriend, who is a woman, will be sleeping with another guy or something like that. And there's a lot of like cultural elements to this too. That's not just like a purely mental thing. And I thought maybe we could start to like unpack some of that. And like the first thing that just like comes to my mind is like, okay, this definitely feels like a very like kind of patriarchal sort of thing in the hit there, where like, okay, a lot of guys like throughout history, they see like a woman as like, okay, this is my property, this is like a thing that I own, that other people are supposed to covet, and I'm supposed to like protect it from being like taken by outside threats. And like to a lot of people who, you know, maybe still see women in that way, the whole thing about cuckolding is like, oh, that's like a perverted like inversion of this, where like, oh, you're just like willingly giving up the thing you're supposed to want to have. You're just like too weak of a man to like keep your woman in place or something like that. And I think for a lot of people, maybe the shame associated with that, or like the fantasy of living out that just those really raw emotional, cultural sort of terms, maybe that like that's the appeal for them. But like that's a big element of it too, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely comes through the lens of that. Like it's very like traditional, heterocentric, all of that type of stuff. Like this is because it wouldn't work. This kind of like, the thing that makes it a perversion wouldn't work if it was like through the lens of some like incredibly progressive kind of just like laissez-faire, just like, you know, we just fuck anybody. Like this can only be a fetish and a perversion in the sense that it is from the traditional mindset of like, I have a girlfriend and she's mine, but I'm flipping this by letting another guy fuck her, which like that happens, but normally it's secretive and it's cheating or whatever. But it's like, not only am I allowing this to happen, I'm like participating in it. So yeah, that is a good point. And that's definitely like a foundation of this, is that it can only exist through the lens of this like traditional hetero relationship type of deal.
Yeah, on some level, like I know from what I've read, different cucks have like different amounts of like humiliation that they enjoy taking part in. But I feel like on some fundamental level, like shame and humiliation has to be part of it. That's what makes it cuckolding, and not just like a, you know, like a hippie free love polyamory sort of deal, where that's more on equal terms. The inequality is like 100% the point of the kink. It wouldn't be cuckolding without that part of it.
Yeah, exactly. And that kind of makes me wonder too, is like, I mean, like all of the stuff that I've seen with that too is like, I wonder if there's like queer cucks.
You know, I'm almost certain that there is, but I will say, spoiler, this is a Reddit episode. We did some research on Reddit, and you know, I didn't really find anything on that end. I'm sure it exists. I'm sure if I hit up like what is it, Archive of Our Own, or like fanfiction.net, I'm sure there are countless people writing about that sort of thing. I'm sure there are people making art of it. I don't really see it among any of the artists I follow on Twitter, but it's like I'm sure it exists, but it's not really the focus of today, because I don't know. I don't know if it's big enough that we have much to say about it.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about this in a very broad sense. So
we're talking about like, this is like a hetero straight people thing going on. That lens is like fundamental to what we've got to say about it today. And I know like when we're talking about queer relationships, it might be like something completely different. So that's just a whole other package that I don't think we'll get into today.
Yeah, but if you do have a PhD in queer cuckoldry science, please, send us an email, dave@superdespairworld.com or briar@superdespairworld.com, or leave a comment in the comments of our YouTube episode. We'd love to hear from you, because I am curious about that, genuinely. I'm not memeing.
Yeah, we would love to hear from like an actual expert on this, but for now you guys are gonna have to put up with listening to us dipshits just riff about it. There was another element of it I wanted to talk about, which is like a little bit of a cultural thing, and it's like oftentimes, I didn't see this a lot in the Reddit we looked at today, but I know this is a very big thing in porn, which is like there's often a racial element to this too. If a lot of porn gets produced in America, so I feel like this is also a very like American centric thing with like white and black people relationships or whatever. But there's like for centuries now, there's been like a lot of like weird racial stereotypes and like racist insecurities about like, oh, the people seeing black men as like some like savage like but fertile like threat to their ownership of women. Like as long as there's been slavery in the United States, there's been all these like fears about like, oh, the slave is gonna break free and he's gonna take your wife and he's gonna like impregnate her or whatever, and just people have all these really weird hang-ups about it. And even in like mainstream porn nowadays, like if you go on like Pornhub.com or something like that, anything in the like interracial category, it just, I don't know, I can't watch it. It just has this like tinge of something like gross and wrong with it. Like there's a perverted element of like, oh, I don't know, it's just always something like, oh, look at this big dick, like destroy this pure white small like fertile woman or something. I don't know, porn, it's just kind of disgusting. And like, I don't know, a lot of people who are into the interracial stuff, they're also it's kind of adjacent to the cuck thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if you look at, this is purely for me doing research, by the way. I don't look at erotic websites. That's immoral. But
this is a Christian podcast.
if you go like to the cuckold category of any of these sites, like a lot of it is the same thing. It's like BBC destroys tiny white woman. Like all of this really weird shit. And then
what was that meme format that got popular a few years ago of like the tiny white girl on the couch?
Oh, the Brazzers like one. It's like 5 like hot black guys like standing behind a couch.
Yeah, that's like that was problematic to say the least.
But I mean, even beyond the racial shit, like a lot of those other things too, it is a reflection of this kink, in the sense that like a lot of times it's like some like schlubby just fucking middle-aged dude, and then the guy is either some like young twinkie guy with like a big dick, or just some guy with like fucking rippling fucking 2% body fat fucking
they're like bodybuilders.
Yeah, exactly. So so it does reflect the thing which you touched on earlier, of this just like this genetically perfect like alpha male, kind of fulfilling this hierarchy of just like, well, this guy, this guy is like dominating my girlfriend or my wife, which now come to think of it, I mean, I kind of just this could be bullshit, or it could be a big brain moment, but like maybe that is part of it, is just these people who like really believe in hierarchies, and they're just like, and they have like a lovely girlfriend or wife or whatever, and they're just like, this doesn't make sense because she's great. She's sexy and she's hot, but I'm like a loser and I'm very insecure about myself. So like, to set things right, to like bring order back to the universe, well, it's only right that she gets her needs fulfilled by some like hung bull, some figure of manly perfection that can satisfy her needs, and I'll sit in my cuck chair and just watch the universe play out, biology play out as it should.
It's very weird. And this is I wanted to bring this up as well while we're talking about the racial element of it. A couple episodes back, we did our Discord Q&A episode, and I remember my good buddy Reed, he asked a question. It was something in the along the lines of like, are there any topics you guys wanted to do an episode about, but you didn't because it was like too sketchy, it was too hot, too controversial or something. And I forgot about this until we were doing research for this current episode. But Dave, do you remember this convo we had in our DMs at some point where I was showing you this book, which I will link to you now? Maybe we'll put it on the screen. This book is called Black Future, an Interracial Sissy Story. Do you remember this?
I sent you that.
Oh, you did? Well, I'm pretty sure I saw it. This has been floating around for a few years. Let me just read the tagline of this book. The first paragraph here. It says, "The year is 2045. The southern United States live under, all caps, black rule. All white men are sissified. White women live to serve, all caps, black kings in vast reproduction facilities. Welcome to America's," all caps, "black future." And it's just like the cover is just like, I don't know, I think this was a few years before AI was a thing, but it looks AI generated. It's like a big, we'll just put it up on the screen. It speaks for itself. I don't know. To me, this is the end game. This is where all the brain rot leads. This is what happens. This is the absolute point of no return. When you get into this sort of deal, like we wanted to do an episode where we like riff on this book, maybe read parts of it, but I got my hands on the PDF. I scrolled through it. It's not funny. It's just gross.
It is truly like I expected to laugh, but I didn't. It was just like the most degenerate expression of this fetish. Like, it's incredibly racist, number one.
It's stupendously racist.
You sent me the Goodreads thing, and I looked at the comments, and the only one that wasn't 1 star when I'm just said, "This book is life-changing. The only thing better is browsing Reddit, and that time my wife's boyfriend bought me a Switch."
That's funny. I actually all the reviews are 1 star for me, except I see a 5-star review at the top that says, "My wife's boyfriend reads this to me through the window of my cuck shed. I almost burst through my chastity cage." This can't be real. Someone says, "What in the caucasity is this shit?"
well, so this is the thing too, is because I shared this with somebody else as well, and the author's name is Whitney Ryan, which you would assume is a
sus
is a woman, but like there's no shot this wasn't written by a white man. Like no shot.
No, I did the research. I tried to find Whitney Ryan. I tried to look everywhere. One, on a lot of social media platforms, it was just like, this account has been banned or this account has been deleted or something.
Yeah.
And everywhere else, it's like, oh, there's no profile picture, anything. Like I don't think a woman would have written this. This is like, I don't know. It's just, there's something bizarre going on here. We got to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah. This is a great one. Please do not read this book. It's exactly what you think it would be. There's no knee slappers in there. It's just like,
not only is it like incredibly racist, but every single sentence reads like it was written like one-handed, you know?
Oh yeah. There's nothing going on there.
This is not us like playing it up for comedy, like, oh, it's so bad, oh, podcasters react to racist sissy book. Like, no, I looked at the PDF. It's not even bad in a funny way. It's just bad. It just sucks. It's not worth your time. Don't ask me for the PDF. I will not email it to you.
Yeah. But this is a great expression of a certain avenue of this shit, which is ooh, baby. Wow.
It does remind me another thing. Have you seen this meme going around? Maybe you've seen this before. It's like a timeline. Some Sandman men going their own way on Twitter asks, "Is this really happening?" And it's like a timeline of men from the 1940s until the 2040s becoming like shorter and more like girly and sissified. And like, I don't know if we can put this up on screen, but like, this is literally this is someone's kink. This is like fetish material. This is like something people jerk off to. This is not like a real thing, but it does like weirdly play into a lot of the, you know, the hang-ups and insecurities that like weird kind of chuddy like racist people have on the internet.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just like it's not my fault. It's society's fault. It's not my fault I can't get a girlfriend, even though anytime I talk to a woman, I say the most fucked up shit ever. It's because microplastics turned me into a femboy, and yeah, it's just Chad. Just Chad's got me in the cuck shed. What am I gonna do about it?
Yeah, and you know, it's so disappointing because like all these conspiracies about, oh, like the Burger King burgers are gonna turn you into a woman. Like, bitch, I wish. That would make my life so much easier. Do you know how hard it is to get fucking HRT meds? Like, if I could just go to Burger King and get like fat titties out of it, you know, I'd be there every day.
Yeah, if you could just drink Soylent and immediately turn into a woman, that would be awesome.
If I could turn into a woman by eating the bugs and living in the pod, you know, I'd be living in the pod.
yeah. That's the future we're looking for here.
Yeah, the pod future. A forced femme sissy store. I don't know. No, this, I feel gross saying that. Let's move on.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's get into the second half of today, which, like I said, we've done some research on this, and I wanted to get into the mind of a cuck, and what better way to do that than by visiting our favorite website on the internet, reddit.com. And today we're exploring the subreddit r/cuckoldpsychology, which it's. We went into this episode like thinking like, oh, okay, we're just gonna find some like goofy shit, we're gonna find some people to laugh at or something like that, but no, there's actually a lot of interesting material on there, and I thought we'd maybe share some of our favorite threads and just like give our thoughts on the discourse, on the things going on in the world of cuckolding. Do you want to start, Dave, or shall I?
I can start one because I have one that's really short, but really quick. I just wanted to say this kind of reminded me when we were doing this very important research on Reddit.com. It reminded me of our one of our seminal episodes, the Reddit Live Free or Die one, where we went to the r/childfree subreddit and we expected some real funny bangers there, and it was just like most of them were just depressing, and like so that was kind of how these ones are.
It's been a constant thing on my mind as I was doing research for this one. I was like, oh, I feel a lot of trepidation. I don't know if I want to read. I don't know if I want to put my voice to audio reading these words out loud on the internet.
Yeah, if you clip chimp these, you're an asshole. Let me just put this on record right now.
If you do that, I will cuck you straight up.
All right, maybe I'll edit a voice changer onto this entire segment.
Maybe do like an old timey radio crackle or something like that. Maybe.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, we'll get like
get a little transatlantic with it.
A little transatlantic. Well, listening to r/cuckoldpsychology.
I did try to prioritize the ones that are like just one paragraph or something, because I will say, weird observation, you cuckolds are wordy motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You really like typing up little novellas. I'm not reading all that shit.
Yeah, seriously, they just got a lot to get off their chest. I mean they have a lot of time because like some guy is banging their girlfriend, so what else are they gonna do besides play Nintendo Switch?
I will say another
watch
thing.
Bluey.
We've made fucking Bluey, god damn it. I will not succumb to the psyop. I will say we've made some jokes about like the whole cuck shed thing, but I was really devastated because I searched for the term cuck shed on this Reddit, no results. I think it might just be a meme thing. I don't know if the cuck shed is a real deal, but I guess the idea is like, oh, it's like a comfy little shed in your backyard where you can go and like play with like Legos and video games or something
while your
girlfriend sleeps.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. All right, you go ahead. Let's read.
Yeah, okay. So this is a short and sweet one. Just to start things off. The title of this one is Need Advice, White Guy / African Fiance. And it reads,
let's go.
I, 40M, am white, and my fiance, 35F, is East African. Wondering if there is any cultural advice in how to approach this topic with her. I have been cucked before by my ex-girlfriend, and it was amazing. So I have experience with this, but I'm not sure if my fiance is just too conservative or it's a cultural thing. And this one I was interested in because I was really looking forward to like the cuck anthropologist to come in here and do a little race science about it.
Yeah, that's got to be some like YouTube rantsona somewhere out there. The cuck anthropologist.
The only good one in the comments though was there's a dude who said West Africa is a very big place. First of all, he said East African, but he said a lady from a nice neighborhood in Lagos. Gas really different background. Oh, it must be has really different background than a Sahrawi nomad. So, yeah, I mean, this guy must have been traveling around the entire African subcontinent, just testing the waters on the propensity to cuckoldry of these women.
Maybe we can do another episode about sex pats, because there's a whole culture of guys who will travel to like third world countries to get some ass, and it's like very, very gross and weird.
It's so gross. It's so gross. And this this goes along with like the pickup artist, like weird, like horny blogger manosphere, fucking the really gross ones. But
there's a whole lot of like weird racial elements of it too. I know this is a bit off topic, but we did talk about like the racial side of like cuckolding or whatever, and there, you guys have probably met at some point a guy who is like really weirdly into like Asian women, and like if you press them about it, they're like, oh yeah, it's because Asian women are like smaller and more docile and submissive than these white women perverted by feminism or something. It's like, no, that's fucked up, dude. You can't say that.
and it's also not true, speaking from experience.
Right, that's porn brain talking.
It is 100% porn brain talking. 100% porn. And it's the same mindset of these dudes who are like, I wish we could go back to the 1950s when women were women and men were men. It's like, no, dude, probably more women than you think were actually like assertive and kept their husband on a leash. It's just like you watched Mad Men and saw some like mentally ill guy with severe alcoholism like abuse women. You were like, oh, based.
Yeah. The thing about the 1950s is you look back on that time period and it's like, oh, the white picket fence with the nuclear family and everybody's like smiling white children or something, and that was a very small sliver of society, because chances are, one, that wife is probably on all sorts of drugs just to get through all of that, or like two, if you were like that was like white upper middle class families. If you were poor, women have been working for a long ass time. You think poor people in the 1950s could do the single income household thing? Fuck no. And the third thing is, a lot of the time back then, before there was no fault divorce, a lot of women just straight up killed their husbands, like mysteriously disappeared or poisoned or something. The fucking compromises we make nowadays with no fault divorce, it's because the alternative is murder.
Yeah.
So we don't need to go back to that.
And shit, I don't blame him either. There's one last thing I wanted to say about this, and the stumble I had over the word that was spelled wrong. I've noticed in this subreddit there's a lot of really, really poor grammar and spelling and stuff, and it's like I don't know.
Is this like an ESL thing?
That was actually my first assumption, because there was just a lot of like very strange use of punctuation. So it's just like who I would really love to see like a country by country breakdown of what's going on here. What I've noticed, this is a weird one, and I actually noticed that when I was looking at the comments for that Black Future book, is there's a pattern where I see, Jesus Christ, man, I'm showing my autism here, but there's a pattern I keep seeing where it's like they would put a space before the period and a space after the period, like any type of like sentence ending punctuation.
Oh,
mark.
that's bizarre. That's not even like an ESL thing. That's
Yeah,
like
why
do you type like that?
I'm kind of curious, like, but like I'm seeing this pattern, like, so either it's one dude with some sort of like weird typing propensity who's just like all over the place here. And
Some guy with a lot of very crusty sock puppets.
Yeah, that is a perfect way to put it. Or this is a tendency with some sort of ESL group. I don't really know. I don't know of any languages that kind of like put
Maybe it's like, I don't know, they type in a very different keyboard in their native language, and that's just what English pops up as. I don't know. I would have to do some research. If you know the answer to this, please leave a comment for us. We are dying to know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I got questions.
Do we want to move on to the next one?
Yeah.
All right.
Your turn.
All right. This is from a thread I found. It was called Most Degraded Ever. And the first question they ask is, what's the most degrading thing a bull has ever done to you or your wife? And or what's the most degrading thing your wife has ever done to you with or without the bull present? And I just wanted to highlight a few comments from this that stuck out to me. This comment reads, my wife would kick me in the balls in front of her friend with benefits, then make fun of my little hard-on.
Okay.
That's very comical.
It? That's
I don't
it.
know. That's the whole comment.
Okay. It was a comment. All right. Wow. I mean, that's like,
I don't know.
That's like painful.
It's a weird thing for me to read that. It's like, oh, this is something sexual that turns people on, because when I think of someone getting kicked in the balls, I think of like, oh, like a lot of my dumb friends in middle school, like, hey guys, let's kick each other in the balls and see how hard you can take it. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I never understood that one either, even though I did participate in that kind of behavior. The low blow, the ball tap.
If you have balls, it's gonna happen at least once in your life. You gotta take it. You gotta take it like a champ, if not like a man.
Yeah, if you don't have balls, take it from me. That shit fucking hurts.
Yeah. Let's read another comment. This person writes, made a cuck recite their wedding vows as his wife was eating my ass. Made a cuck make me and his wife a 3-course meal and serve it to us. Made a cuck take Viagra and then try and reclaim their wifey while we laugh and he falls out. All right, so I guess this is written from the perspective of a bull.
He falls out. What does that mean?
I don't know. It's like he made the cuck take Viagra and then try to have sex with the wife, but I guess it didn't work. But like, I don't know. Wouldn't Viagra make you hard? I don't know. This is a bizarre comment. It's formatted in a weird way, but I don't know.
See, I'm telling you, there's a pattern here. I'm seeing it.
It's bizarre, but I will say, okay, this highlights another element of it, which is like, okay, it's not even just a purely sexual thing. This is like a mental, emotional thing about like reading your wedding vows while watching your wife get fucked, and then, like, making the guy like
that's dark, dude.
After
that's dark.
That is dark. I don't know.
The wedding vow, that kind of makes me sad, man. Honestly, like. It's one thing. See that's the thing. I think of like, it's one thing to like compartmentalize that, but when you're bringing in something like that's kind of real, or at least I would assume it is, and kind of just like making light of it for like somebody's fucking.
You gotta be a little fucked up to sit down and think like, what's the sickest thing I could make this person do while we're going at it, and like, I don't know. I feel like you gotta. That's dark. We're talking mostly about the cucks today, but also I guess the bulls aren't immune for like you guys gotta introspect a little bit
Yeah.
why you're into this.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I got one. This one's a little long, but I think it's worth it. I'm gonna try to, I'll try to gloss over the like as much as I can. But I knew I had to read this one because because the title of it is "Cuckolding is an Honest Lifestyle."
Oh, here we go.
Or how my Asian GF learned how to be honest.
Why are they writing this like the title of some memoirs?
Exactly.
This is like somebody's 900-page life story.
Exactly. All right. So I'll try to read this one quickly. So a while ago, we had this arrangement with a bull. He was an older white man, and both my GF and I are Asian. My GF is someone who is very informed and educated on Asian American issues. She's always talked about how so many of her white exes were racist jerks. She's also a very ardent feminist, so that translates very naturally into the bedroom. She's not stuck up, but she doesn't enjoy dirty talk, especially any that involves her being called a slut or whore or anything like that. Very prim. Anyways, at the beginning of our cuckolding journey, I found our bull and set up an arrangement. He matched our ideal desires like being dominant, being hung. However, what really interested him was that my GF was an attractive Asian woman. He wasn't racist or anything, but he definitely wasn't a regular on Twitter, if you know what I mean. That one aged really poorly.
Yeah.
When we first met up, he made some comments about her being Asian and how he liked that. After the meeting, my GF told me she was actively turned off and felt like he was kind of a jerk. In the end, I managed to convince her to give him a try since it took so long to find a suitable bull. I wasn't allowed to watch or even listen in on their first encounter since she thought it would be awkward, but she would always tell me what happened during pillow talk. I can glaze over the next parts, just horny shit. She also complained a lot about his dirty talk since she felt kind of annoyed. She felt he was kind of not very PC because he was older, but she kept shutting him down. But overall, she said it wasn't bad and that she would continue if I was still okay with it. Fast forward about 2 months, I finally managed to convince her to let me watch. Whatever. At the start of the session, she's nervous. It also starts a little bit awkward. The bull seems confused, asks if anything's wrong. When I inquire, he says she's usually much more liberal and vocal. I tell my GF it's okay to be herself. She's still a little clammed out. Eventually, they get into a good rhythm, and he starts becoming more aggressive, telling her to show her just true self while just pounding her. Then she suddenly cracks and starts dirty talking back at him. And it's not just dirty talk, it's borderline race play, talking about how much she loves his BWC and him saying how tight her little Asian pussy is, even making her say things like me love you long time in a faux Asian accent. Oh, come on,
dude. You can't make him say that.
Exactly. And during all that, she's going crazy. This is a direct quote. Her pussy sounds like a bowl of batter being mixed. When it's
like a bag of sand.
When it's all over, she gets pretty emotional, apologizes, telling me she's ashamed of liking this very non-PC stuff. I comfort her and let her know. When was this? 2 years ago, and they're still using the term PC instead of woke? Come on, grow up. I feel like, and this is the takeaway, I feel like cuckolding has made her attitude towards sex and sexuality a lot healthier. I think it helped to bring to surface a lot of repressed desires and subsequent guilt and helped her process it. That's what I love about cuckolding. It's a very honest lifestyle. How the fuck do you come to that conclusion after living out that story? Holy fucking shit, dude.
I will say, all right, I know this is an easy thing to say about any post on Reddit, but that happened. I don't know. This reads a lot like somebody's fantasy that they wrote about like a liberal like feminist woman kind of like being broken down, and now they're all secretly into race play or something like that. I don't know. I have some big doubts about this story.
That is a valid take for sure. And whether this is true or not, and I can definitely get on board with this being bullshit. Regardless, this came out of somebody's mind. This was at least
maybe Whitney Ryan, is that you?
What? Okay.
I almost said Whitney Houston, and I don't want to throw her under the bus.
Yeah, Whitney Houston had some problems. We love you, Whitney, but this
is another thing. I will say, one, it's very funny that the ones you keep posting have this like racial element to them, where it's like, why are all these weird racist dudes so deeply into this fetish? And I just have to feel like, I don't know, like it wasn't my intention to make this episode about yet another instance of just like dunking on the chuds or something, but I feel like this has to be an element of the like far right, like authoritarian brain rot. Like this is just all their like racial insecurities about like, oh, people of a different race are gonna conquer you because they're superior genes or some shit like that. Just a lot of really weird, like, not just racism, but like the scientific racism, like all obsessed about like breeding and just weird race play stuff. I don't know. It's very bizarre that this is so common in the kink.
Yeah, it is weird. Like I really do think there's a huge element to this kind of like reactionary brain where a lot of it is deep rooted in some sort of insecurity, and a lot of it manifests itself as sexual insecurity. So yeah, for that one for sure. I mean, fucking me love you long time, man. That one's like.
That's played for comedy, right? Like nobody sincerely gets off to that, do they? I don't know, man. That's so bizarre.
But but then the author of this saying like, we're both Asian. It's like I have unfortunately experienced this thing before where there are a lot of Asian guys that I've met, which I don't think this is like specific to Asian dudes, but like they do get
I think I know. Yeah. I think I know where you're going, and I've seen this kind of mentality from people of like every country on earth.
Oh, for sure. But this is kind of like a meme on 4chan, which goes along with some like incel shit where they're just like, I'm a Pajit, I'm only 5'8", so like I could never get laid. Which is like, there's a lot of racist shit that goes along with like the incel.
Oh, they
mentality.
have race terms. Like it's not just like Chad and Stacy. There's also like Jamal, the black guy.
Yeah.
Like,
Jamal is like the black Chad who's gonna fuck your girlfriend no matter what. If you're like a South Asian dude, you're a Pajit, you have no chance with any woman ever. And it's just like, no, dude, there are fucking hot Indian guys, there are fucking hot East Asian guys. Most of them are cool. Don't use your fucking race or your height or fucking whatever as just might as well give up. I guess I'm a cuck now. I guess I'm an incel now. This is a quick little piece of advice for anyone, but it's just kind of unfortunate to see.
Not to derail this too much, but it is extra funny to me because I actually knew a Pajit growing up through like middle and high school, and I hadn't seen him since I graduated in 2011. But 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I was in the process of moving, and I just saw his face, like a whole like photo of him and his brother on a fucking billboard. They're like realtors now or something.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, that's funny.
and you can't be an ugly realtor. They don't allow you.
He's a perfectly normal looking like a Indian dude.
Yeah, so. Yeah. They don't allow you to get your realty license if you're ugly. This is not to defend realtors. I mean, maybe.
No, once again, as with many industries, it is the devil's industry, and you have to be charismatic and good looking to deceive the believers.
Exactly.
Either way, I've got like one or two more that I think would be good. I have a really dark one. I'll probably skip that over. We want to end on a high note.
Okay, yeah, cool. I got what do I have? Okay, I got two, and they're not as long as before. So let's do two each.
All right, yeah. I have a long one, which I'll do first, and then a much shorter one.
Okay, cool. I got two short ones. So I think that's good.
All right, I had to read this one just because by the title alone, it just really sucks you in. And by that I mean the title is PSA: Sucking a cock does not make you gay.
Oh, that was one of the ones I had, but I skipped over it because I already because I read a long one. But I'm glad you're doing this one because it is funny.
All right, fuck yeah, let's go.
Right.
So I'm gonna read most of this post. It's kind of long, but let's see. This person writes, okay, PSA: Sucking a cock does not make you gay. Likewise, for getting your cock sucked by a guy. This may be controversial, but there are plenty of reasons not to do it. But as a bull, I just wanted to put this out there. I think it should be very clear that sucking a cock doesn't make you gay, in parentheses, or even bi. And even if it did, what's wrong with being gay or bi? It's 2023, not 1923. Well, it's 2024 now, but
hey.
This post is not some horny rant about how you must submit and blah blah blah. But I've met some cucks with more than a passing interest in it, but can't cross that boundary due to internalized homophobia. Attraction comes in many forms, and desires manifest itself in many ways. Have you ever wanted to go on a date with someone of the same sex? Ever had romantic feelings about them? The fuzzies you feel when they laugh and smile? Do you dream about life outside of the bedroom with the same-sex partner? If you do have an interest in doing sexual acts with someone of the same sex, does it ever come from a place of profound love, like you may do for your wife? No? Then you're not gay or bi. And if you do feel that way, then maybe you are, and that's 100% fine. You deserve to be accepted for how you are. Putting a penis in your mouth and sucking it to completion could have many motivations. Submission, lust, obedience, adoration, gratitude, servitude, subjugation, reverence, among many others. Okay, put the thesaurus down, motherfucker. The same applies for offering your asshole or interacting with your bull physically in any way during a session. It can be gay, but this is a very specific context that is primarily centered around pleasuring your wife and deriving pleasure by confronting your own masculinity. Some may even classify cuck as its own sexual orientation that's completely separate from straight or gay. And I want to be clear, if the idea of servicing a bull turns you off and it's not going to get you going, then that's also 100% fine. This fetish is one that relies heavily or even entirely on mental stimulation. There's a deep, some may even say primal, motivation for this entire fetish, and for many that could manifest itself in many ways, including acts with the same sex. There's nothing innately wrong with licking his balls while he pumps your wife with a load, with cleaning him off after, with cleaning her cream pie. It's kink, it's fetish, it's fantasy, or even reality for some. Then you can go back to life as normal when the session is over. We have one life, and we might as well enjoy it to the maximum and not let silly labels hold us back from our true desires and pleasures. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Oh, you gotta end in the most red fucking way possible. God damn it, dude.
I'm finger snapping to that slam poetry you just laid down for us. Oh baby, that reads like a fucking PragerU script. Oh, we needed some like
fellas,
really shitty
gay
emotion.
To suck. Fellas, is it gay to suck dick if that dick was just like fucking your wife?
No, that dude is gayer than the day is long, and he definitely got into this shit to be like, yo, what if your husband like let me fucking lick his balls, or like he sucked my cock, or like whatever. And it's like, dude, just go on Grindr, man. You don't have to rationalize.
What if I just want to suck that moist cock?
Hey, what's up, guys? I just want to do a PSA. It's not gay to suck a cock.
He made me suck the cock after it got out of my wife, and then he said, "You're gay now. I made you gay." This is what's wrong with the West.
The postmodern neo-Marxist made me suck the cock of my wife's bull, and it's because Rule C, law, the Bill C-13 made it illegal to not suck a man off to completion afterwards. And I'm here to just speak out. Screw you! I'm not sucking your cock. Well, I am going to, but I'm not. I'm not swallowing.
Oh, he made me suck his Steamboat Willie.
Why is it that we always go from moist critical directly to JP?
Moist critical to JP to Steamboat. It's
always.
It's the 3-hit combo.
It's a solid 3-hit combo. I saw that on.
All right, we only got a few minutes left. Let's be mature.
Yeah.
About this.
Okay.
Okay. Let's get to the bomb. Does this make you gay?
Yes, but being gay is cool. So.
I'm actually thinking. I don't know. I might be on his side. I think it might not actually make you gay. Because, like, I don't know. Like, maybe you're just doing it in the moment. But if it's not for any reasons of actually being attracted to men, I don't know. I would have to think about it more. But I'm going to come out on the side. I don't think it makes you gay.
No, I'm kind of with that. Well, I have, like, I think sexual identities are cringe because I'm anti-identity all the time, which is something I rant about all the time. But yeah, I mean, if you're compartmentalizing that dick, and it's
compartmentalized already.
Yeah,
it's really being
sticking
stuffed
out
into
of the
some boxes.
Cuck shed. That's probably how glory holes were invented. It's like, people are like, I want to suck a dick, but I don't want to like see a human like attached to it. But
well, okay, if you're on the receiving end of the glory hole, I think you have a good idea of the sex of the person on the other side.
True. The internet.
I don't know. Maybe it could be a woman's dick. I don't know. It's 2024.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, well, that's what I was gonna say. Is like sucking a dick, in and of itself, is certainly not gay because it could be a girl dick. It'd be girl dick.
Yeah, huh. Yeah.
It's all the rage right now.
I don't know. I will say that there's a lot of posts we didn't read, but I did see a lot of threads from people who were like conflicted. They were like, "Oh, I did some gay shit while in this hobby, this kink. Why did I say hobby? I did some gay shit, and it's like, oh, I worked out. Maybe I'm kind of bi leaning or something like that. And hey, if that is what you discover, then good for you. But I don't know. I think maybe this is a hot take. I think it's perfectly possible to be like a relatively like straight guy, just solely into women, but maybe you just did this because like, oh, you wanted to give a woman the satisfaction of watching. I don't know. Maybe that's fucked up. I'll think about this more.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's cool. But I mean, that's the whole thing about this. If you want to suck a dick, fucking suck a dick, man. You don't need to like intellectualize it. You don't need to go on Reddit and just be like, let me post my manifesto because I sucked a dick and I felt weird about it. It's like, you sucked a dick. You sucked a dick. You sucked a dick. It's fine. It's fine. The sun rises in the morning and it sets at night. You know, it's totally fine.
I actually want to hear in the comments. Leave your comments. Tell us, which side do you fall on in this debate? Is it gay? Is it gay to suck dick inherently? I want to know.
Yes, yeah, and there's a lot to unpack from this. So I'm expecting a 2-paragraph minimum from each. No, I don't want to put that much onus on you. You could post it.
Leave a paragraph answer and explain your reasoning.
Yeah, I want sources, citing. You need it. You need at least 3 to 4 academic sources. 2 of them need to be books.
All right. let's do yours and then I'll do mine and we'll wrap up.
Okay. I have. All right. I'll just put both of mine out there right now because this one, the first one is really short.
All right.
This one's called The Actual Math on Cock Size. So
they did the math. /they did the math.
At first, I thought the difference between a 5-inch cock and a 7-inch cock wasn't that much. 2 inches doesn't seem that much, right? But then I did the math on it. A 5-inch cock with 5-inch circumference is 10 cubic inches. A 7-inch cock with 6-inch circumference is 20 cubic inches. 20! that bull has literally has double the amount of cock that you have. I know this isn't revolutionary math, but the next time there's a big bull making your wife scream, it's probably because she's being filled with twice the amount of cock that she's used to. We got fucking Cuck Pythagoras up in this bitch.
It's one cock, Dave. How big could it be? 20 cubic inches?
The funny thing with this is, like, why has this dude been ruminating about this so much? Because, and I think it does, like, shine a light on this, is just, like, these dudes have to, it all comes back to the same shit, the fucking incel thing, and in all of this is just, like, my wife likes fucking other dudes, but it's like it's mathematically proven that it's not because of like me or her or anything like that. It's just like, oh well, if you do the inverse square law, and you plug in this quadratic equation into your TI-86 graphing calculator. Well, of course it makes sense. The cubic centimeters are larger, and in big numbers better.
We gotta unpack this in a future episode, because I feel like this is a trend for a lot of guys who just like believe some really weird, typically like very far right stuff, where it's like, oh, they'll rationalize anything if you put it through the filter, through the language of like math and science.
Exactly.
And logic or whatever,
yeah, it's just like liberals owned by facts and logic. Just like, oh yeah. Well, this is why my wife fucks another dude that she met at the bar. Well, it's like, oh yeah, I took my fucking I took my calipers out. I took the micrometer out and I measured his dick circumference, and I was like, just
rigorously solving the math equations on the chalkboard in your cock shed.
Please dip your dick into this graduated cylinder so I can see the volume displacement of it. Oh yes. Just as I hypothesized, just as the science suggests. Yes, absolutely. Good. Yeah, good.
Hell yeah.
Okay, all right. Last one, and then you're gonna. I
have something positive to wrap up today.
Okay, yeah. So I haven't seen this one in a while. I don't. Oh no, this one's all right. So the title of this is "A Wife Sleeping Alone with Bull First Time I Can't Sleep," and it reads. My wife is currently sleeping in our bed with our bull alone for the first time while I'm downstairs in the guest bedroom. That's the cuck shed, baby.
Yeah, it's attached to the house. It doesn't have to be a separate
You're
building.
Right. Ever since he came over last night, she's been all over him like a horny college girl. They didn't even make it to the bedroom the first time, with her begging for his cock and cum on the couch. I was really into it at first, but now that I'm not in the same room, it feels very different. I've masturbated so many times, it's embarrassing. I keep going back and forth between being extremely turned on and the stabbing feeling in my gut that tells me I'm making a mistake. God knows how many times he's come inside her tonight. What if she starts actually falling in love with him? She's clearly addicted to him. You should have seen the way she acted around him. Their sex seems way too passionate. Am I risking my entire marriage? I thought this would turn me on, but I'm not sure anymore. I think it has gone too far. Do I just barge into the room in the middle of the night? So I like this one because now there's 4 edits after this. So I'm assuming these are actual. These are actual.
Edit 1. Thanks for the gold kind, stranger.
Oh, this blew up. I didn't think my first gold post on Reddit would be about a dude pounding my wife.
Wow, this post really popped off, just like my wife's pussy.
All right, first edit. Yep, they're making love right now. You can actually hear him pounding my wife from the stairs. Their muffled moans sound like they're heavily making out, and it sounds so passionate. Back in bed now. How am I hard again? Edit 2. 9 a.m.
Hold on. Just imagining fucking record screech. Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
All right, edit 2, 9 a.m. and they still haven't come out of the bedroom. At what point is it okay for me to walk in and say good morning? Edit 3.
Don't do that, dude. That's even more cucked.
So, yeah, all right, edit 3. And they're fucking again. At least I know they're up. It actually sounds more passionate than our sex. How does he keep getting it up? Fuck me. Edit 4. I waited for over a half an hour till I thought they were done. I could only hear kissing and sounds of my wife moaning, so I walked in thinking they would just be cuddling. Nope. He was edging, in quotes, inside my wife. I later found out she had over 8 earth-shattering orgasms with him as he did this. I wonder how many games on Nintendo Switch were beaten that night.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like he wouldn't actually get anything done. I feel like he just like opened like Animal Crossing or something. Just like, I gotta chop more wood.
Yeah,
I gotta catch
for
more
sure.
bugs.
He's just chopping wood in rhythm with
I feel like, I don't know, this has to be a big element of like any like embarrassing situation. Like I heard some people talk about this recently. It was in the context of like lol cows on the internet, and it was like, okay, you finally become a lol cow once you like really struggle against it. Like, no, I'm not ridiculous and funny. No, stop making fun of me.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
okay, this is this guy went through that with like, no, I'm not that much of a cuck. Please stop sleeping with my wife. You know.
The top comment on this one too is just, sounds like she had a great night. Oh. There's just something about that comment that fucking sends me.
They say brevity is the soul of wit.
It truly is, and no punctuation on it either. Like this dude's like, he's like, yeah.
How funny would it be if that person was the guy sleeping with his wife?
He's on Reddit, just like keeping up with the thread, just like, yeah, keep us updated, bro.
That's the final level of being a bull. It's when you follow the cuck into their Reddit account and you follow their posts. Oh, that's wild. I know. I will say, I was with the story when they said 8 earth-shattering orgasms. I'm like, okay, that seems like a lot. I don't know if I believe this, but it I don't know. I think I lean like 70-30 on this being real.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I did come up with a couple fake stories on here though. But again, I will say that just the fact that people are LARPing about this in their head, I think says enough.
Yeah,
about just
this says a lot about
the general
society.
mindset of the cuck fetishist. And yeah, this is one, if it is true, and even if it's not, it's still like the dude, like in the dude's mind, it's just kind of like, you sound like you're like half, it sounds like you're mentally suffering, but because
it doesn't sound like you're enjoying this.
Yes,
on,
yeah,
like, a
yeah,
kink
but it's
level.
because
like,
you like,
he says he jerked off, but like
right,
it couldn't have been good.
right, which like, yeah, just because it makes you hard doesn't mean it's like good for you. You know, it's not like a positive experience. I mean, like
sometimes your dick can betray you. Sometimes you don't need to indulge that boner.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. So, all right, what do you got? Send us home.
Okay,
send us home, baby.
I wanted to end on a positive note, as we usually do for this show. So I wanted to share the one post I found on the subreddit where I think, okay, this person probably doesn't have anything wrong going on with them. This sounds like a relatively healthy way to go about this. So let me get into it. The thread is it's like a question thread. They ask, what's your ick regarding cuckolding? And they're basically asking like, okay, what's something in the cuckolding kink that you just don't like? What's your limit? What's part of it that you don't enjoy yourself?
Yeah, as a quick aside, calling things your ick, this goes back to our previous episode. Like, can you use adult words for things?
Yeah, it's a little weird. Fellas, what's the least amazeballs part about cuckolding?
Yeah, if you say something gives you the ick, maybe just like pretend to be an adult for a day.
When I listened to my wife getting railed in the room above me, I just felt this is not heckin' good.
It was not heckin' good. I got the ick from that. It was not Amazeballs or Epic Chungus 100. And
Yeah, no, it was not breathtaking. Well, it was for her, but not for me. All right, let's read the comment. This person, they write, not to kink shame, because this is just personal preference, but the extreme cucking stuff is a huge ick for me. The whole pussy free thing, obsession with chastity, the extent of wanting to become the third wheel to her stronger bonded relationship with the bull, fetishizing the idea of the wife basically hating the husband, etc. all have no appeal to me. For me, this is something fun to enjoy, all caps, together with a wife you love and want to share life with. She has great sex, you get your pleasure from her pleasure, but at the end of the day, this is an adventure that you pursue together as a team, like a perverted dynamic duo. There's more to life than just sex, so the concept of basing your entire personality around it and treating your partner like nothing more than a kink toy really gives me the ick. More power to anyone who finds happiness that way, but it's just not for me. And I'm like, oh, okay, this sounds sane.
So
this sounds like pretty reasonable.
Yeah, this but it sounds like it's not really cuckolding then. It's just like you're just like poly, I guess. I don't know.
I guess it's like a one-sided poly thing where it's like, okay, you're fine with your partner having like a sex life with other people, and like I guess you get off to knowing that makes them happy or something. I don't know. Like, I'm not going to go into this person's entire like post history or like I don't know every detail about their relationship, but like that kind of brings it back to like what I was saying about kinks earlier, where it's like, okay, yeah, you need to. It needs to be like consensual. You need to be like respecting each other's like boundaries or whatever. Like I read so many posts in the subreddit where it's like, oh, this wasn't like a kink thing that you guys like talked about and like negotiated or something. For a lot of people, it's just like, yeah, my girlfriend cheated with me, but I stayed with her, and now this is just a thing we do every weekend. And it's like, that doesn't sound healthy, my dude. You gotta use your adult words. You gotta do some heckin' adulterino shit.
See,
and,
that's
be mature about it.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that makes me a little uncomfortable with this kink. Is I don't think like fundamentally, I don't think there's anything wrong with like that expression of it that commenter said is like that seems very healthy, but like the difference is like I'm not really in the scene either, but from like the whole like BDSM type of thing, it seems like that's role play. And then after the session is done, you just go back to being normal people. Whereas like this kind of cuck shit, like the things reading here, assuming any of this is real at all, which
with that assumption, yeah. maybe I can lend some more insight, because there were two replies to this that I wanted to that stood out to me. So there was the original poster, and now one person replying to them says, 100% agree. I don't think it's healthy to want to be replaced in your relationship. I feel like most people with these extreme fantasies are looking for a way out of the relationship, but don't have the courage to actually leave. So they are doing what they can to disconnect from their partner completely. And okay, that sounds pretty reasonable to me.
All right.
And now the original poster responds to them, and they say, I suspect the vast majority of posts on here on the subject are from gooners role-playing it, so sadly it may be hard to get genuine insight from real people living it. True. There were so many threads that we went through for this episode, and we were like, oh, okay, this isn't a real thing. This is somebody just like typing like one-handed to get their rocks off. This is not a real thing. And we can't know if any of the posts that we read today are real, but I don't know. Like this person seems like a sane voice in the community. You gotta handle these things like a responsible adult. You gotta talk to your partner like a real fucking person, and like you gotta have boundaries on these sort of kinks, especially when there's like so much like really intense like emotional pain and like humiliation and shame stuff wrapped in it. It's fine to explore that stuff, but like, God, just, I don't know. I read so many posts, and it's like, you guys are just like hurting yourselves, and I feel bad.
Yeah, maybe like, I don't know. I think like inviting somebody else in your bedroom is one thing, but this is taken to like a dark extreme, and I guess the final thing I'll say on it is if you can if you can live this cuck lifestyle, if it's a real thing, you know, and you can, and you're not like mentally tortured by it, then fucking rock on. Mo power to you. But if a lot of the shit that we read on here is legitimate and not just somebody's jerk off fantasy, I think you're kind of fucking yourself up with this. Like maybe you got to dig a little bit deeper and see why this is such a hyperfixation for you, such an obsession.
Yeah, because like I said, it comes back to the self-harm thing. Like for a lot of people, I suspect, and this is not me painting with a broad brush, it's not everybody, but I suspect for a lot of the people I've read on this subreddit, if the things they're saying are true, I think it's like, okay, this is clearly something for you that was born out of like a really painful moment in your life, and you need to find a way to process that without just like hurting yourself further. Like you really need to like examine, like, is this working out for me? Is this like a good relationship? Is this like what I should strive for in my like personal life with other people? And like, I think if you're honest, the answer is probably no.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a double-edged sword of a lot of online communities. Is like, they definitely do help people who are in some sort of like minority group, whether you're especially like if you're like queer, or if you got something going on and you live in a place where it's just like a monoculture, and it's just like, oh man, it's really nice to talk to people that are like me and that I can identify with. It's nice, but in a lot of senses too, these types of communities, these fringe types of communities, which are maybe aligned with a little bit of like kind of problematic, a spectrum of kind of problematic to like extremely problematic, like incel, fucking alt-right, weirdo, 4chan shit. It's like,
yeah, and like we said with the cucking kink community, like I said, we've noticed a lot of weird parallels with like weird far right shit, you know. So
a lot of ways of looking at the world or trying to rationalize the world to people who may be a little bit or a lot disillusioned with things. And it's like, yeah, I think these people would still not be in a great state if they didn't find these communities, but they wouldn't be radicalized at least, because all it takes is somebody a little bit disillusioned and a little bit of sugar, spice, and everything nice, and then suddenly, hey, shit, you're a fucking Nazi. Woo!
Yeah, it could happen faster than you think.
Yeah.
It's like this one person says, I think they really took the words out of my mouth. I'm going to read this again. They say, I don't think it's healthy to want to be replaced in your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? That's the root of it for me. If you can have this like arrangement with your wife or your partner or something, and you two are like genuinely happy together and like no one's getting hurt in the process, then hey, we're happy for you. Just like, I don't know, maybe think about it a little bit. Maybe just like be aware of some of the weird cultural stuff going on in the scene, and maybe, I don't know, I don't know if you have any power to reach your cuck brethren and keep them on the right path.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is a weird way to wrap up.
Maybe it's a spectrum where like on the good end of the spectrum is like just having like a healthy polyamorous relationship, and on the bad end of the spectrum it's like you fetishize it into this like cuckold bull situation where you just need to like be humiliated and jerk off to like the idea of just being a lesser than.
I'm just imagining like one of those like old school like cutesy Tumblr like, oh, everybody's valid sort of comics where like on one side you have like a cute figure drawn, it's like, I just like to watch, and on the other side of the spectrum it's like full on like degenerate gooner material.
Yes, exactly, that would track.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's all we got for today. I think we should wrap up.
Yeah, I think we pretty much just deconstructed cuckoldry more than anybody ever could have ever in their lives. So
we did it, Reddit.
Epic. Chungus.
Yeah.
100.
All right. Before we say goodnight for today, let's give a shout out to the most cuck people of all, our patrons.
Hey.
We're just kidding. We love you guys.
Yeah, you're not cucks. You're alpha bulls. All of you.
Fuck yeah. Let's pull up the list.
Okay, the Patreons. The Patreon patrons. The patrons.
The Cuck Supremes.
The Cuck Supremes. All right, in no particular order, we have Walker, my boy, from back in the day. Love you, baby. Thank you for continuing to donate a sinister $6 per month. We got Trash Bins OG, our first guest. Ooh, baby, love you. We got Shalom Guy, an absolute fantastic supporter of the of this little podcast we got going on, man. Thank you for the $6 per month. We got Clam, an absolute OG. As always, we got Protagon. Yes, also one of the best people. By the way, all these people that we're talking about, they're in the Discord. You could talk to them, and they're the best people in the world. Probably better than you.
Come hang out with us. The Discord is free, by the way. You don't need to pay to get in the Discord for now.
For now. So get in on the ground floor. We got Hearsay, a relatively new supporter, and we fucking appreciate the motherfucking shit out of you, homie. Nilly, who I've actually met IRL. Fucking really great dude. Thank you for your support. We got Nick, also an OG supporter of this wonderful little podcast that we have going on. Thank you, Nick. We got Weasel. I think you're gonna really like this. You're gonna really like this.
This one's just for you, buddy.
We made this episode just for you. Just kidding. Weasel's not an actual cuck, or is he? Well, join the Discord and find out. And then Dimbus, a new supporter whose support we greatly appreciate, and we hope you love these 2 episodes that we're dropping this week as well. But that is our fucking squad right now. And you know what? I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change a thing.
I would change a lot. I would have like 20 times as many people. But you know what? We love you guys none the same.
I would have 20 times as many people, but they're just clones of those people.
Oh fuck yeah! That's it.
Yeah.
That's the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I want so many weasels and trash bins in my life.
Yeah, that would be cool because we could put one in like every city, and if you're ever traveling around or whatever, there's just gonna be one of them there that you can hang out with. You can shoot the shit with.
Exactly. Hell yeah. Okay. I think I've fully exhausted all my clever witticisms for today. So thanks very much. Sorry for no episode last week. We hope you guys enjoy the 1-2 punch of this week. Hopefully it won't be a regular thing. We're getting back to our normal schedule after today. But yeah, it's been a good one. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, fuck yeah. We're back in it. I'm no longer busy with other shit, so we're back.
You're no longer cucked by the state, by the university.
There you go. Yep. I got out of the cuck shed, and now
cuck no more.
Now I got time to edit all day, baby. So.
Out of the cuck shed and into the podcaster.
Yeah.
Den.
So enjoy a more regular schedule and 2 episodes this week, and also good fight, good night.